Right guys, this is my second attempt at making this video. As the first one I felt out, it was very repetitive and very kind of circular kind of language in it. Apologies for not being as on the ball with new videos and new topics as much as I've promised. Unfortunately, my personal life has become extremely busy. And this has unfortunately had to take a bit of a back burner. I'm trying my best to free up and utilise some time each week to try and gain new information or perspective to produce more videos with better content that's quite in line with topics I get asked about, or whether you guys send in a question in relation to a particular topic that I can look into. Anyway, the topic I want to look into currently is about recent New Year's fads of, personal trainers, coaches, magazines, products, TV advertisements, basically any kind of person relating to the fitness industry or entity relating to the fitness industry that's trying to obviously make money from people who are, trying to optimize their health or trying to lose weight or gain muscle or whatever it is. And these people are doing that by using sales pitches and languages that are, should be giving you kind of warning signals that they probably don't know what they're talking about. Or if they do know what they're talking about, the likelihood is that their product is solely to make money and not actually get you the life-changing results as promised or advertised. Now, things like, if, for example, you start working with a personal trainer or you start working with a coach and they say, right, this is the only way that you will get, the very best results and blah, blah, blah. And, without doing much initial information work with you, without doing many tests and measurements to quantify your personal ability and your personal preference as an individual, and saying very kind of using statement language that is very kind of there's no ifs, no buts, it's just black and white, where the reality is that in personal training and health and fitness or just general weight loss or whatever it is, not one size fits all. Everyone, when you're having a bespoke or trained service, then that service should be very kind of designed for you as an individual. If a coach has got 10 different clients and he's training every single one of those clients exactly the same way, with exactly the same prompts and the exact same diet, and I can guarantee you that coach shouldn't be a coach in the first place. And, not all those people are going to respond the same. You may be lucky and you may have, say, 4 people out of those 10 that respond really well to that kind of training. And it's just because, there are certain protocols that kind of mimic each other from individual to individual, but then not all individuals will share those. The biggest offenders, in my opinion, are things like, magazines, when they have statements saying 6 to 12 weeks, and you'll get huge arms. If you're starting off quite a small, underfed person that's very little untrained, all right, yeah, I'm not going to say that you're not going to make good gains within that time limit, but you are not going to have huge arms. Even a guy with average size arms, you are not going to achieve huge arms in 12 weeks unless you're also doing a cycle as well as eating a crap ton of food and possibly following the training mantra that is being advertised. So keep in perspective that when people use very kind of black and white language like definitely and only and the best and so on, let it be a kind of an alarm bell in your head that perhaps this person or item or product isn't what it's made out to be. Perhaps they're just utilizing and relying on the sheer quantity of numbers of people buying it, that then they can use those people as an advertisement for their product, when there's also a good huge majority that have had no benefits, no gain from that product or whatever. I think the couple of things we need to bear in mind, that in terms of research studies, there's so many times where certain research is quoted or displayed as fact, when the actual reality is that I'm all for scientific studies and research papers and doctorate journals and so on. They're a fantastic source of information and sort of theory-based evidence, but they're not fact. A lot of the studies that are conducted, the studies themselves are very two-dimensional. So, they may have had a group of certain individuals at a certain age range, but then they didn't have anyone over 50s. So does that mean that their findings applies to someone over the age of 50? Without basing any information on that or having any statistics from people in that age bracket who should have been in that study? Of course they don't. All of it is theory-based evidence, because it is very hard to conduct a study that covers every single angle of a person's everyday life. They can just try and reduce the variables as best they can to give a fairly close depiction of a certain age range with a certain activity level in a certain kind of structured environment, but it's very widely open to the individual or the interpretation of that individual's personal life. So the only thing I think that we can class as a given and an absolute scientific fact is that if you're in a calorie deficit, then over the course of a day or a week, yes, you will lose weight. If you're in a calorie surplus per day or per week, then you are obviously going to gain weight. It is literally that simple. A lot of people at the moment are preaching like ketosis or keto diets. Now, I'm a big fan of keto myself, but if there's a client that I'm working with and they've got no serious issue in how they feel or digest carbohydrates, and they've got no kind of major hormone imbalance issues, or even the fact of, I don't know, that they've got fairly good insulin sensitivity, so when they do eat carbs, it's uptaked in the right places at the right times. I see no reason why that person would benefit more from a keto diet than a caloric deficit diet. It's working with your clients or working with yourself as an individual and being very critical and, being very honest with that person or yourself, and coming to the conclusion that, right, okay, when I have a meal with potatoes in it or any particular high carb, now I do feel quite sleepy 15 to 20 minutes after I've had that meal. The likelihood is that you may not be the best with carbs, so cycloketosis or keto dieting may be beneficial to you if you're looking for overall health and just to make sure that you're the best version of you can be. And people keep on saying, oh, you should go vegetarian, or you should go vegan. There's no kind of proof to state that way of eating is optimal for everybody. I'm not saying in the slightest that it's not a good structure or it's more morally correct than consuming animal protein. But what I found is that with a lot of vegetarians and vegans, the external health isn't a good indication of their internal health. So, they may look fantastic on the outside and their skin may be good and, they may look a picture of wellness, but on the inside, more often than not, because they've kind of shunned a whole kind of food group and food source and nutrition source, their internal health doesn't reflect how well they are appearing on the outside. I'm not stating that all vegans and vegetarians kind of follow that example. I have had experiences and met, quite a few vegans and vegetarians that their internal health is just as good, maybe even better than their external health. But these people are very, very on the ball with their eating, and they have a very, very good grasp on their overall diet. So the protein and amino chains that they're missing from this food group, they are able to manipulate plant-based sources and other sources to regain those levels, where it would be very beneficial on the health element to have these sources internally. So guys, I know I've rambled on quite a bit. Like I said, I'm hoping to bring out more videos shortly. Try and at least do once a week if I can. If not, apologies. I just want to maintain, as much kind of quality information in each video as I possibly can, and also in the simplest format I can. If you've got any questions, or if you've got any kind of ideas on questions that you'd like me to address, or any particular studies or research that you've been interested in recently, please drop me a message or a like or whatever, or a share, and just give me some information back, as I think it'll really benefit anyone who's looking to try and increase their performance or their health, or just general overall knowledge. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful, guys, and I shall speak to you soon. Take care.